What's up, guys? This is Kalo, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, but Aiden, do you smell that? I smell... We're cooking up more gaming headlines here on Community Kitchen. Shout out to The Rock. I don't know. I was trying to say, do you smell what Game Sandwich is cooking? But, again, I'm joined by Aiden. Before this goes off the rails, why don't you say what's up?
Hello.
All right. Now, today's Community Kitchen is a little bit of me... I believe the youth calls it hopium or copium. I don't know. One of the two. That's what I heard online one day.
Oh, listen to yourself.
Yeah, I know. I'm aging myself as we speak.
Now referring to the youth.
Referring to the youth. But, John, and I blame John for this, posted a article on Game Sandwich. You might want to go check it out. Where apparently the composer, I believe, for a Banjo-Kazooie game, and I think it was Nuts and Bolts, basically said he had no hopes for a new Banjo game. Now, the direct quote here is, quote, "I've said it before, but I have zero hope for another Banjo game. Plus, all you diehard fans would instantly hate it and slag it off no matter how good it was, it never works." There's that quote. Now I'm going to go over to Yeah, that was a little rough. Now I'm going to go over to purexbox.com, and this is where the CEO of Moon Studios, the people who made Ori and the Blind Forest, and I was going to say Will-the-Wisp here, quote, "They've been sitting on Banjo-Kazooie with nothing happening there. Even though they are a really talented developer, could probably take Banjo game and rival a 3D Mario game, and probably sell similar numbers." First of all, do we think Banjo could even come close to Mario? Or... Because I don't think so. I'm convinced that's not even coming close.
We all know the only one who is coming close to Mario is Ty the Tasmanian, devil or whatever, tiger.
Oh, all right. Now you've opened a can of worms.
Only one coming close.
Over the weekend, I got into it wasn't like a Twitter beef. It was just like, oh, someone remembers this game, and it was Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. But
yeah.
More context to that quote too. They were talking about how Xbox doesn't really have any family-friendly titles, which I completely agree. Like, you got Halo, you got Gears of War, you got Starfield, you got the Elder Scrolls, you got all that other stuff. But, like, where's that, like, friendly face, so to speak?
I mean, they have Yooka-Laylee, so... And that one's the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, that's that weird, awfully close...
The one with the chameleon and the bat.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez, you don't know Yooka-Laylee.
My bad. There was also a Crash Bandicoot clone. I don't remember the exact name, but I'm like, that's awfully close. But I want to dive further into this all, and I'm always pulling for a new Banjo game, so is John. And the era of 3D platformers, we've been there, we've talked about it before. But with Astrobot, did you send me a picture? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Yooka-Laylee.
Oh, my bad. I'm not well versed in that stuff. But with Astrobot recently being Game of the Year at the Game Awards, 3D platforming, I think, is now... It's at its peak, more than it's ever been. Do we have room for games like that nowadays?
No, we do. I mean, Astrobot did amazing. Like, Astrobot was Game of the Year. It's pulled amazing numbers. Everybody speaks highly of it. It just, yes, it leans on nostalgia. And honestly, Xbox needs its own version of Astrobot. Make its own little... Like, they could even do Banjo-Kazooie if you really want a Banjo-Kazooie. I will be upfront with everybody. I've never played it. But I've always admired it. I've just never played it.
We still love you, don't worry.
Really, think about it like this. So you do Banjo-Kazooie, but then you lean heavily into, you lean heavily into Xbox nostalgia. And then you just go, oh, okay, Banjo going through the eras of Xbox or something, you know? Make it unique.
Now, to spit game a little bit, I used to be all about Banjo. I was playing Banjo-Kazooie on the N64. I still oftentimes go back to Banjo-Tooie, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts I played through. I know people are going to hate me for this, but I actually enjoyed that game. My main gripe, I do agree, the family friendly stuff, it's not there. They have Crash Bandicoot, they have Spyro. That's all under their umbrella now, along with Banjo. But whenever you look at like the reception he got whenever he joined Smash, people were losing their minds. It's like this isn't a forgotten franchise like Jak and Daxter or even Sly Cooper. This guy is still in the mainstream and it's still a thing people care about. And to say that, like, oh, it doesn't even warrant a remaster or a remake for the Xbox Series X, like, I think that's categorically false. Like, I think it does warrant it. And let's just say that's your litmus test. Gauge the interest through a remaster or remake, give it to for Bob, and there you go. You have at least something to be like, hey, do we make another Banjo game in the future? Probably. It's sold decent. Like, I don't know. Am I crazy for that?
No, I mean, I don't think you're crazy, but I don't see another Banjo game happening. I mean, I'll take like a quote from Andrew here, or like a paraphrase from Andrew here. Whenever I asked him about this, because I asked him specifically about Banjo Kazooie, and he said, and I agree with this, that it's not going to happen. We would see more. We would see a more likely scenario with Banjo Kazooie crossing over into the ukulele games,
Oh,
just because
stop.
the people, like some of the people who worked on Banjo Kazooie, went on to work on ukulele. It is a spiritual successor to Banjo Kazooie. Has the similar thing of, anthropomorphic not antagonist, but protagonist with like a fun animal sidekick. Has that same thing, and really you could just do it like this, where you mix them up. Like, oh, Banjo, you play as him a little bit, you play as ukulele a little bit. There you go.
My thing too, like I this is my first time seeing ukulele. It has an established fan base, and clearly the people are there that they want it, and it's like you're ignoring that sector. Whenever I look at PlayStation and how bad I bag on them for not giving me another Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, let's go back to like the PS3 days. Sackboy's Big Adventure was a popular game for them. And to say that they were devoid of mascots, they had Kratos, they had Nathan Drake, they had all those big names, but Sackboy still stood out amongst all of them. And like whenever I look back to that generation, oddly enough, that's the first person I think of in that generation. And now they have Astrobot. They've even gone back through their pantheon in Astrobot, like that actual game, and they've acknowledged, like, we have a lot of brand recognition, a lot of deep cuts, and they're still using them. They're still in the limelight. I mean, now more than ever, people are talking about Ape Escape. Like, in the shot-for-shot, like, PlayStation versus Xbox, not including Nintendo because they're a separate beast themselves. Yeah, you got Halo, you got God of War, you got Spider-Man, you got Starfield and Fallout and Elder Scrolls and blah, blah, blah. But Astrobot, who on Xbox's side is rivaling that? I really don't see anybody.
I mean, you don't have a rival. Like, the only thing close to that is ukulele. That's it.
You can lump Crash and Spyro, but
like, ukulele is not even close to Astrobot. That's why I said they need to make a new mascot. They really do that, or they need to revive Banjo and have him go about the same thing as Astrobot, where it was like, oh, let's bring up the nostalgia. Because I bet you, like, Xbox has a lot of nostalgia. It does. More so, like, if not the same, maybe more than PlayStation. Just solely because, like, they have a lot of franchises that appeared on Xbox first. And don't forget, they have, like, the biggest one, which is Halo.
yeah.
So,
Oof.
I
yeah.
mean, they could really do something with that where, like, they bring in, like, maybe, you know what? Just from my own perspective, I could see maybe, like, an It Takes Two style game where, like, not co-op specifically, but, like, more like you take one of the Xbox mascots and you have them go through different genres of games that Xbox has produced over the years.
Yeah. No, to even just give it to, like what you said to Banjo, where he goes through the different things. It's almost like a 1-2 punch where one, you get that style of Astrobot game where you go through the history of Xbox, but two, it's already a well-known person in gaming or thing in gaming where it's like, oh, Banjo, like, okay, there's even the thing in his games where he jumps through a treasure chest to go to another world or whatever. It's there. And there's a bigger conversation around Xbox specifically I kind of want to get into. And this is where I mentioned at the start, I played Banjo on the N64. There's a lot of talk nowadays. Phil Spencer was yapping to practically everybody on the internet about Xbox putting their games on other consoles. You're going to tell me right now that, let's just say, Banjo 4 or a remaster, a remake of the original Banjo, multi-platform on Nintendo consoles? That would absolutely hit. If Lego Horizons is anything to go off of, a Banjo game, oh my gosh, on Nintendo consoles, that's where it made its bread and butter. That's where it can thrive again.
Yeah, I mean, that would hit. If they keep it as a standalone Xbox title, it would not hit that well.
No.
But on Nintendo, for sure it would. I mean, I've seen this thing go around. I don't remember what person I saw say it specifically, but basically, Phil Spencer has stated that Xbox is trying to be the Netflix of gaming, more or less. Like, that was their words, not Phil Spencer's words, obviously. But I can see that, and I can see them going like, oh yeah, let's maybe make a remaster of Banjo and then go multi-platform with it, put it on PlayStation, put it on Nintendo. Then it would sell a lot better.
Yeah. It boils down to what he said over the weekend where he's like, it's foolish to think, and you've seen it with the Square Enix games, how those Final Fantasy games didn't sell as well or meet their expectations because they were walled off to the PlayStation ecosystem. And whenever you talk about Banjo, and again, an older quote he had was legacy titles. Banjo has legacy on Nintendo consoles. Let's just say you just do some weird black magic deal with Nintendo and it's just on Xbox. It's not even on PlayStation. You're going to tell me that game would fare a lot better if it was just on Game Pass? I don't think so. Like, do it on Nintendo where it makes sense. That was the quote too. We're going to put games on consoles where it makes sense. Banjo, Nintendo, I think that's a done deal.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know what? How long do you think we have to wait? Just because I'm thinking about it. How long do you think we have to wait to get Game Pass on the other consoles? Because like I feel like it's inevitable.
I don't think it comes to other consoles. We did an Xbox predictions video for this year. I do think at some point we're going to see the Master Chief Collection on PlayStation, on the Switch too. It's coming. And Phil Spencer's words this weekend, I think it's only going to ramp up, which again, in my opinion, my humble opinion, while it's big shock value, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Halo. It makes sense. This is today's gaming market. Where we are now versus where we were 5 years ago, totally different. And in the vein of sticking to like Banjo and stuff like that, 15 plus years ago, I don't know the exact number, he was a popular gaming icon. And again, he existed in an era where there were like Jak and Daxter, there were Sly Cooper, there was Mario, there was X, Y, and Z. I still think he can hold some weight today and sell. Like, I think that's perfectly encapsulated by his inclusion in Smash. Like, I don't think he would be in Smash if he wasn't popular.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you there. He wouldn't be in Smash if he wasn't popular, and I guarantee you that there are still people who care about the character and want the character, like you. You know, I mean, I've heard you talk about a Banjo-Kazooie remake for forever.
Yeah, I know.
Or a sequel. Just like I hear you talk about a Jak and Daxter remake. That's never going to happen.
I need it. I just need something. I need something's got to break. The dam has to break on one of these franchises, and I'm just sitting here waiting for which one. I'm at the goalpost ready. Which one do we think, though, honestly? If we had to pick next 5 years, what do we see first? Banjo, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper.
Out of those, I'm feeling Jack and Daxter.
I'm gonna say
Just solely
Banjo.
because they had they had Sly Cooper like Thieves in Time. That was like more recent than the other two. So like I don't think they're gonna lean on Sly Cooper anytime soon. But I have a feeling based off nostalgia purposes that PlayStation would be more likely to do something with Jack and Daxter than Xbox would be willing to do something with Banjo Kazooie.
Mark my words. I was about to say something off the rails, but PlayStation's gonna screw me. I'm gonna put it that way. And they're gonna release Ape Escape before they release Jack and Daxter and Sly Cooper. I can almost book that. I can almost lock that in, that PlayStation would do that. They would put Ape Escape out before Jack and Daxter. And then that's when I really go off the rails. We talked about the Switch 2 being delayed to 2026. If that happened and Ape Escape came out before Jack and Daxter, oh, we're going live. We're doing everything live. I don't know.
But you know what? I don't think it's room for me to have any final thoughts. Like, what are your final thoughts on Banjo Kazooie? Because you're the expert here.
And shout out to John. I'm gonna echo his sentiment. I just think it works. Like, it doesn't. You're gonna release a Pentiment, and that went off to have good success, but it's also available on other platforms. Like, why not? Like a remaster, even of the first title, or do a package deal with Banjo and Banjo Tooie, or Banjo 3, whatever they're friggin' gonna call it. Like, why not? Like, you have... It's so rare to have somebody who has that much pull like Banjo and just not use him. Like, even in marketing or whatever, to put on the box you get whenever you get your Xbox. Like, Banjo is under our umbrella. Crash Bandicoot or Spyro or whoever. Like, why not put him on the box? Like, old people like us would realize, like, oh, Banjo, like, when we have kids, that's a game I used to play. Oh, it's on Game Pass? Let me introduce you. Like, I just don't see the rational reason to not do something new.
Yeah, I mean, I fully support you, and I fully support your sentiment about it. So, for your own sanity, I hope things happen.
My sanity is dwindling by each and every video and each and every short we release. But speaking of that, if you want to see the downfall happen live and in living color, you might want to join our Discord where we can talk more about things just like this. And if you're new to Game Sandwich, consider subscribing, especially in the year ahead, because we got some turbulent times ahead of us. Oh boy, do we. But as of right now, I've been Kalo, joined by Aiden, and we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.